Welcome back to another edition of Solved. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. Today we are working on a 2000 Nissan Frontier with a V6. First thing you want to do is disconnect one of the battery terminals, which I already did over here, and as you can see I put it way far away. Normally I put like a battery top on that, and then I would just leave the wire wherever it is. Oh sorry, we're doing a starter. Yep, that would be helpful to know. So make sure you jack up the vehicle. Always work safely, using the jack stands, the correct tools, use a proper jack, and make sure you have all the right tools before you start. Make sure that everything is charged up, make sure batteries are good to go. So then we come underneath the vehicle from the front here, and what you'll see quickly, I already have a light on here, so it's very easy. You have your one bolt on this side, and then you have the second one on the back side, or on the transmission side. That's what we're going to be taking out right now, and that's what you got to do. They are 9/16, both of them. So make sure you got your extensions, universals, whatever you need. All right, so at this point I want to stand corrected. It's actually this bolt over here, not this one, which is a nightmare to get to because the oil pan's in the way, and the top one. So these two are what's holding the starter in, but right now the starter is a little stuck and it should be coming off, but we'll get to that in a moment. So in case you're ever confused where the bolts are, I should have told you earlier, you match up the bolt holes of the replacement part, and then however it sits, have it sit in the same way, sort of memorize the position, and then that'll tell you exactly where those bolt holes are. So now that we got those two done, I'm going to see if I can get this thing loose now with a little hammer whack. Whack fuck. And that is pretty good on there. So that's going to take a little bit of work. Just remember, never rush. Always take your time before you break something. Okay, so as you can see now, I needed two hands to give it a good proper whack. And now it's separated right here, so we can remove the starter. So what we'll do is, first, we'll follow the wire that comes off of the starter right here, and you want to disconnect that. Let's see here, so I'll get to doing that in a moment. There you go, easy peasy. And then you'll have what usually is a 9/16 14 millimeter or 13 millimeter or half-inch socket or wrench that you'll need to remove the battery cable off that part. This is your signal wire here, so you don't have to unbolt anything there. Let's see if we can get that out. See if I can minimize this a little bit. See how well this cooperates. In the past when I've done these, of course I don't have a video that's going on, but I've also known them to be a little bit of a pain in the butt, so have patience. You just gotta articulate the movement, and eventually it'll get out. Sometimes you can turn it like this. So let's get that out. Oh, I pressed the pause button. So here we're gonna tilt it up. It's so much easier with two hands. That's why they're saying many hands make light work. So you tilt up the wire side as such, walk the ear, the lower ear of the starter out like that. All right, a little bit of negotiation happens, and then you kind of got to play with it. This is a good point right here through the frame to get to it, and then boom. See how easy it was? Now we just got to get to the wires, which we'll have to, you can do it like this, and then you got a power tool, you can just unbolt it, which we'll do right now. Okay, so in actuality, so I got it out. In actuality, it was a 12 millimeter socket. Forgot about Nissan's 12 and 14 and 10 and 8. So this this nut right here is the factory one. As you can see, it has a flat washer built onto it, and the one that comes aftermarket, or when you replace it, you get a lock washer and a very thin, by comparison, nut there. So I always prefer to use the original one, and you can use it with the lock washer if you like, but unnecessary because it didn't have one on it before. So we'll just get back to the installation. Is the reverse of putting it back in. First you want to hook up the battery terminal, and then we'll connect the wall. Okay, so that's it right there. Everything's locked, cocked, and ready to rock. Just get the protection boot on like so. Then you go hook up that wire, which you remember where it is. Okay, and there's your pigtail connection. Make sure you listen for that clip. It was already hanging, but it looks like it belongs somewhere. So you can look for a tab like this. Maybe it goes there. So we'll get that put on properly and take a close look at it again. Here's the starter. The bottom terminal, that is grounded to the starter itself. The top one is the power, and of course the signal wire we just did there. Now we're going to tighten the bolts. Now line up the starter. This you're going to need 2 hands for. And you start threading this in by, oops, let me zoom back out. You got to start threading this in by hand and then catch it. Now whether you're using a power tool like I did, or if you have a hand ratchet, always good to make sure that everything is secure using the German measurement of good and tight. And then of course you want to make sure that the body that you see right here at the seam is connected and mounted properly with no gaps. And now we're going to go reconnect the battery. All right, now we're up at the battery. Always a good idea, if you have a voltmeter, always make sure that before you replace a starter that you have enough voltage, which should be no less than 10.90. And now we're tightening down this terminal. We're gonna have to need to replace it with another terminal because it has been over tightened. Let's try and start it, see what happens. Should be enough juice connection right there. Yeah, let's see what happens. First time starting. Beauty, you did your job right. Thanks so much for watching another edition of Solved. Don't forget to share, subscribe, like, follow, all that jazz. So if this video has helped you, hopefully it'll help somebody else. This was again a starter for a 2000 Nissan. This video may apply to other years. I'm not sure, the 2000 to 2004 perhaps, let's say, of Nissan Frontiers and other V6 models. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Hasta lasagna, but don't get any on you.